Do you see that little jar of brown gloop? Yeah, that's peanut butter, and over the past 10 years, it has brought joy and chubbiness to billions of people like you and I. Today, you're about to find out the crazy way they make it in factories all across the world. When peanuts arrive at the peanut butter factory, they're already shelled and ready for the first step, which is roasting. They travel through this hot air roaster cranked up to a scorching 399 degrees Fahrenheit. A shaking mechanism keeps them moving so they don't burn, and this thing doesn't mess around. It processes nearly 4 tons of peanuts every hour. When they come out, they've gone from pale to that familiar golden brown. But the heat stops there. Immediately, the peanuts enter a rapid cooling system where powerful suction fans blast them with air. If the nuts keep cooking, they'll lose too much oil, the very thing that gives peanut butter its creaminess and its flavor. It's basically the peanut equivalent of yanking a drunk guy out of the sun before he turns into beef jerky. Quick side note, did you know that the best type of peanuts for peanut butter are runner peanuts? This is because they're uniform in size, meaning they roast evenly, unlike their inconsistent cousins. And get this, an 18-ounce jar of peanut butter takes 20 ounces of peanuts. That's around 1,000 peanuts in a single jar. Now, back to the factory floor. Do you see that odd-looking silver gizmo on screen now? Yeah, that's called a blancher. It's designed to strip the nuts down. No diddy. The rubber belts of the blancher rub off their outer skins, which are later sent to farmers for pig feed. Then the peanuts are split in half so their hearts, which are the small shelled, bitter, and unwanted parts of them, can be removed. Okay, now it's time for the real transformation. The peanuts drop into a massive stainless steel hopper, then down into the grinder where they get crushed into a smooth paste. This is when the other ingredients come in: salt, sugar, or another sweetener, and a small amount of hydrogenated vegetable oil. That last ingredient might sound weird, but it actually keeps the peanut oil from separating and floating to the top of the jar. According to Wikipedia, the US is one of the biggest consumers of peanut butter, made even clearer by the fact that we apparently made January the 24th National Peanut Butter Day. When did that happen? Another thing I always found surprising about peanut butter is that it doesn't need preservatives. No artificial colors, no artificial sweeteners, and yet it never needs to be refrigerated. So the question is, how does it stay fresh? The answer lies in its ingredients. The lack of water and the high oil content are the reasons why your PB don't need no FRIDGE, if you catch my drift. Time for the final step in the factory process of peanut butter, which is jarring. The freshly made peanut butter is poured into jars, which then pass through this cappy machine. The lids have an aluminum seal inside, and as they move through a heat machine, that seal drops down and sticks to the top, locking in freshness. A machine stamps the production and expiration dates, and just like that, the jars are ready to hit the shelves. Nutritionally speaking, peanut butter is actually overpowered. I mean, not only is it full of protein, vitamins, minerals, and fiber, but it also contains 0 cholesterol. If peanut butter had a LinkedIn, it'd list solo meal replacement under special skills. Over 80% of it is unsaturated fat, the good kind, that may actually help lower cholesterol. The bad news is that there's still some trans fat in there, thanks to that stabilizing hydrogenated oil. But if you want to skip the trans fat, feel free to go for natural peanut butter instead. Just be ready to stir the oil that rises to the top. And if you're wondering how long that jar in your pantry will stay good, unopened peanut butter is fresh for an entire year. That's 1,000 peanuts roasted, blended, and sealed tight, ready to spread on your next sandwich. But quite like me, the peanut isn't the only snack in the world. So let's take a quick look at another fan favorite. Walnuts have been part of human diets for centuries, but exactly when and how they were discovered is unclear. The first records date back to Persia in the 7th century BC, where they were considered a luxury reserved for royalty. Today, they're grown on a large scale, particularly here in California, where orchards supply the global market. It takes 5 years for a walnut tree to produce a harvest, and when the time comes, the nuts are enclosed in thick husks like this one that you can see on screen. Mechanical shakers knock them from the trees, while sweepers gather them from the ground. Once the husks start peeling away, the walnuts are sent off to processing. At the facility, the first step is cleaning. This sorting machine removes rocks, sticks, and other debris before sending the walnuts down a conveyor. They land in large cooling bays, each capable of holding over 13 tons. Before moving forward, the walnuts go through something known as fumigation, which is where they will spend the next 28 hours in a sealed chamber to suffocate all insects. This is how the Romans handled unruly dinner guests. Next, they're sorted by size. Tapered rollers like this one separate small, medium, and large walnuts into different lanes, making cracking more efficient. The largest head up the cracker belt, where pistons apply just enough pressure to break the shells without crushing the nuts inside. This happens at high speed, yet not every walnut cracks on the first try. About 10 to 20% need a second beating, so they go on through another set of rollers before moving on. The remaining whole walnuts enter a rotating cylinder such as this one, lined with small blades which break them further. From there, everything passes through a giant sifter. The walnuts are sorted into 8 sizes, from large halves to smaller fragments, which will later be used in baked goods and other products. A high-speed belt then launches the nuts into an optical sorting system. Cameras scan for shell fragments, and an air jet blasts them off the line instantly. Isn't it satisfying? This machine has better standards than half of Tinder. After that, a quality control inspector does a final check, removing anything the machines might have missed. The walnuts then pass through a vacuum chamber where any lingering debris is suctioned away before they drop into attractive packaging. For commercial use, they're packed in bulk, with each box weighed before being shipped off. Whether they end up in cookies, salads, or a squirrel's attic, these walnuts have gone through years of growth and just hours of processing to reach the final product. Before I reveal the top 5 weirdest peanut butter facts they don't want you to know, let's take one last look at another popular bite-sized snack, one that might be sitting in your pantry right now, hiding in plain sight. Almonds have been around for centuries, even making an appearance in the Old Testament. By 100 AD, Romans had turned them into a wedding tradition, pelting them at newlyweds as a symbol of fertility. Yeah, I know. Hope you said I do before the concussion kicked in. These days, it's their nutritional value, not superstition, that keeps them in high demand. And with California producing more than 80% of the world's supply, the industry is built to keep up. The process starts when almonds arrive at the facility still wrapped in their tough, leathery hulls. The first machine handles the cleanup, combing through the batch to remove leaves, sticks, and anything that, well, isn't an almond. Then comes the de-stoner, which, as you can see, blows air through the mix, forcing the lighter almonds to separate from any hidden rocks. Once they're clear of debris, the almonds move between a rubber roller and a belt, quite like how the walnuts did, where the holes are spun off, finally freeing the succulent nuts inside. Somewhere in the distance, a cashew is watching and whispering, "Pathetic." From here, the almonds need to be sorted. Vibrating decks with pre-cut slots like this one divide them by size while shaking off any leftover hull material, which is vacuumed away. Do you see this machine on screen now? That's known as a gravity table, and it's designed to separate almonds from anything that doesn't belong. If you check Alibaba right now, there are even some which sell for over $5,000 a pop. What an absolute bargain. At this stage, the almonds are still in their shells, which need to be checked for cracks, crud, or whatever looks legally inedible. They drop into a scanning system where cameras look over each nut in real time. If a shell is broken or contaminated, a blast of compressed air instantly knocks it out of the batch. The flawed almonds are set aside for further processing, while the best ones continue down the line. Another facility handles the grading, where a second round of scanning detects any remaining imperfections. Any almond that doesn't make the cut is separated for use in other products, such as almond butter, almond milk, or baking ingredients. Those with intact shells, however, move on to human inspection. where employees manually remove any last defective pieces the machines may have missed. For almonds that are sold shelled, the work is not yet done. Once the shells are removed, the nuts go through another round of sorting by size. A vibrating conveyor carries them forward while smaller almonds drop through holes into designated bins. Larger ones continue down the line, separated out because they fetch a higher price. And the tiny ones? Well, let's just say if you've ever chugged almond milk, you've tasted their suffering. Even shelled almonds need to pass another quality check. A camera photographs each one as they fall, feeding the images into a computer system programmed to detect even minor imperfections. Any almond that has such an imperfection is removed from the batch. Then they head for one final inspection, a robotic scanner that detects scratches, chips, and tiny fractures. As you can see, the system pinpoints flawed almonds and removes them like clockwork. When the pristine almonds are ready for packaging, they travel down the final stretch of the production line, where machines assemble and seal cardboard boxes. Each box is weighed to confirm exact portions before being sealed shut and sent off for distribution. Some almonds will go directly to retailers, while others will be shipped in bulk to be processed further. And with so many people eating them by the handful, it's clear all that effort pays off. Unless you're an almond that got repurposed as trail mix, in which case, thoughts and prayers. Okay, so starting at 5 and counting down to number 1, here are the top 5 most weirdly unexpected facts about peanut butter that will change how you look at your next jar. Number 5. A jar of peanut butter could prove the earth is flat, or not. It's true. A simple jar of peanut butter has been used by flat earthers as evidence in debates about the shape of our planet. Their logic is that if the Big Bang really happened, then peanut butter should also spontaneously create new life because of all the particles smashing into each other. The argument goes like this. Peanut butter sits in jars for months, even years, and if life could just randomly appear, as some misunderstand the Big Bang Theory to suggest, then why hasn't peanut butter spontaneously birthed a new species? Since no new organisms are suddenly forming in peanut butter, they claim this proves that life does not come from non-life, which means that the Big Bang is false, which then means that science has been lying to us and therefore the Earth, as they argue, must in fact be flat. In reality, that's not how science works, but hey, if staring at your peanut butter long enough could answer the biggest mystery in the universe, we'd all be astrophysicists by now. Number 4. Elvis Presley died with peanut butter in his stomach. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had an interesting relationship with peanut butter. His go-to indulgence was the Fool's Gold Loaf, a sandwich stuffed with peanut butter, jelly, and a literal pound of bacon inside a hollowed-out loaf of bread. That thing had over 8,000 calories, which means eating one was like consuming 4 days' worth of food in a single sitting. But here's the thing. When Elvis died in 1977, an autopsy revealed that his stomach still contained a significant amount of peanut butter. Now, we're not saying peanut butter played a role in his demise, but considering his diet of fried peanut butter sandwiches, bacon, and a casual disregard for vegetables, it might not have helped. So if you ever feel guilty about inhaling 6 spoons of peanut butter at midnight due to cravings, just know that to Elvis, you're a noob with rookie numbers. Number 3. You're probably eating bug legs in your peanut butter right now. Before you take another spoonful of peanut butter, here's a fun, and by fun I mean horrifying and frankly gut-wrenching fact. The FDA allows a certain number of insect fragments per jar. Yeah, that's not an accident. The FDA straight up expects bugs to be in your peanut butter. But how many? Up to 30 insect fragments per 100 grams. That means in an average jar, there's a very real chance you're enjoying a little extra protein from hundreds of little bug legs, wings, or whatever else fell in before the peanut butter hit the shelf. And let's not even get started on rodent hair, which for some reason is also FDA approved in quote-unquote small amounts. The good news is that you've been eating peanut butter for years and haven't died. The bad news is that so have the bugs. Number 2. Peanut butter can explode. Yes, really. Peanut butter may be your favorite sandwich spread, but under the right conditions, it turns into an explosive. Because of its high fat content, peanut butter is flammable, and in industrial settings, peanut dust can actually cause dangerous explosions. Military scientists during World War II even explored whether peanut butter could be used to make a potential fuel source for explosives. The missing context here is that peanut butter itself won't spontaneously explode, but it is flammable under extreme conditions. If, for example, it's mixed with pure oxygen in a high-pressure chamber, it can indeed combust. Also, powdered peanut butter, dehydrated form, can be highly flammable because fine dust particles of organic material can ignite in the air. Fortunately or unfortunately, your average jar of peanut butter won't just blow up on its own. Number 1. You could technically turn peanut butter into diamonds. Science says you can turn peanut butter into diamonds. And by science, I mean actual researchers at Germany's Bayerisches Geo-Institute, who figured out that peanut butter's high carbon content makes it a surprising candidate for diamond making. The process involves squeezing the life out of peanut butter using incomprehensible amounts of pressure, stripping away everything but the carbon, and letting nature do its thing. Eventually, voila, peanut butter diamonds. Now, before you start throwing your Jif jar into a hydraulic press, know that this process takes extreme scientific equipment and conditions. Though if you do ever find yourself in a situation where you have literally nothing but peanut butter and a black hole's worth of pressure, congratulations, you're rich. And now for a bonus fact. Peanut butter must be 90% peanuts or it's illegal. Yes, that's right. The US government has declared that peanut butter must be at least 90% actual peanuts or it's not peanut butter. It's a crime. Okay, maybe not jail time level, but the FDA will come knocking, slap them with a nice try but no, and strip them of their peanut butter title. This is why some companies get sneaky and call their products peanut spread instead of peanut butter. That's code for we loaded this thing with fillers like sugar, hydrogenated oils, and questionable substances your ancestors wouldn't recognize. So next time you're in the peanut butter aisle, check the label. You might just be 1% away from legally questionable goop. So there you have it. Peanut butter, a near-explosive, bug-filled, diamond-producing, possibly criminal spread that might have played a role in Elvis's death and apparently disproves modern science, according to the internet. And yet, we keep eating it by the spoonful. Now, excuse me while I head off and get some more from the store, but before that, I think congratulations are in order. You now know exactly how peanut butter is made. And since you're already here, give this next video a watch. It might just shock you.